Which homegirls got their podcast out here, Mr. Lee?
Antisocialites. Antisocialites, that's what.
Hey guys, it's your girl Momo, and I'm here rocking with the Antisocialites. I love you guys. Stay light.
Yeah, ain't nothing, no, it's your boy Shifty. I'm here hanging out with the Antisocialites. I'm my thing. Girl, if you like.
What it do, man? It's the Kid, double them G's on Fat Trail, and right now you're locked into the Antisocialites.
Much Money Lewis, and I'm here with the awesome, incredible Antisocialites. Peace.
It's the Love King Raheem Devon. You know what it is. I'm in Miami on the Lodo with the Antisocialites.
It's Jizzle. We out here, Miami, Art Basel, wrapping it up with the Antisocialites. You feel me?
The Kid prospecting right now. We rocking out with the coolest podcast in Miami, the Antisocialites. You did.
It's your boy Billy Blue. Shouts out to the Antisocialites. Get your mind right before you get left. Check them out. Let's get it.
Yo, this your boy Prez P, and you already know I fuck with the Antisocialites, man.
Hey, Big Baby Drum here. You already know I'm fucking with the Antisocialites. You know what I mean?
Here's a war stage right here.
Subscribing everybody's H Martinez. I'm hanging out with my girls. The Antisocialites right here.
Antisocialites? All right.
What's up, what's up? You are tuned into the Antisocialites podcast. It's your girl jxstFE. And it's your girl None. And today we got producer, singer, not singer-songwriter, but all the songwriter, all that shit. DJ, KP.
Yeah, I got a note or two.
Let me hear something.
Start us off. I got a straight.
Woo, woo, woo. Oh, maybe we need to get you singing. But what's up? You all the way from the A? You in Miami, 305?
You know it. 404 to 305.
Hey, and the weather's nice, so we showed you some
the
hospitality.
weather is worth the
The
trip.
weather is very good. How's the weather in Atlanta?
Not so great.
Really?
No. When we left, it was cold. It was winter in Atlanta.
I think everywhere else in the world is kind of cold and chilly.
Yeah, we're kind of blessed down here.
Yeah, high five to us.
Yeah. Oh, y'all one season.
Right.
Don't know nothing about interchanging, taking your spring clothes out and putting summer clothes in.
No, just hot and rainy. Is it?
Don't have it.
But what's up though? You was out here for Rolling Loud.
I was rolling out and Cinco de Fly Up.
Mm-hmm. Yes. He made a little, appearance in the camera, but Cinco de Fly Up. I mean,
that was dope.
I
missed it, but
I know she wasn't there.
I saw the visuals. They FaceTimed me. It looked like it was litty.
No, it was dope. Like, we had a great time. It was a great turnout. The music was great. Hopefully, I know Fly Set was dope. I listened to that. I don't know what my set sound like until somebody look at me in the face and go, or alright. So.
Have you had a set before?
Absolutely.
And in the beginning now, because I know you were doing it.
You started
off as a DJ,
yes,
now.
Oh no, the first. Okay, so I started DJing first when I was in ninth grade, which was a very long time ago. But
we can't tell.
Okay, I appreciate it. But I've been focused on the executive side of the music business for probably the last 20 years. So I haven't seriously DJed in probably over 15 years.
So what made you get back into it?
Well, I've never not messed around. Like, I've always had turntables in my office. I've always, it's always been there. So, it'll be like the stress relief.
Gotcha.
So I never really thought about it anything more than that for probably the last 15 years, right? So I was on Christmas break about 3 years ago, and a friend of mine, Pretty King, was at my house, and I was just at the house practicing. And he, with his cell phone, he took a video, posted it on Instagram, and was like, "Yo, I just posted a video." And I was like, "What video?" He was like, "Oh, you over there doing your juice shit on your GQ." And literally about 30 minutes, I got my first offer to spin somewhere. Yeah, but it was just me doing tricks. It wasn't like a set. It was just me messing around. But then got an offer, and I knew I wasn't ready, so I was like, give me a couple months to just for real think about this, because I got to get records. I got to, this is a thing. It's an undertaking. But I wanted to do it. It was fun. And first set I did was trash. It was horrible.
Was this at a major club? Was it just a
It was at a club, actually.
Okay.
Well, no, let me not say that. The first thing I did was okay, to the point where it was as an executive, it was great. Okay. I was like, okay, man, I know you can really DJ. And I was like, oh, yeah, skin on my teeth. But then I came out of town. I had to do my, which is one of my managers now, Troy Ginyard, T-Guns. He had a birthday weekend in Orlando. So I came down and he had 2 spots. And I told him I need turntables because I've never used CDJs. The first club we got to, CDJs. So it took me a good 30 minutes to get a feel for it. Yeah. So for 30 minutes, it was horrible. It was just like a lot of, oh no, hold on, wait a minute, what does this do? Yeah. Like legit horrible. Got it going cool enough to where, you know, people didn't like, they would give me the pat on the back like, yeah. No. It was, yeah.
Out of respect.
Yeah, no. And I was like, okay, so I know what I got to do. But I was like, the next night, I had another party. I was like, man, please give me turntables. And that was great. Like, but it was like the difference in one night was, it was day and night for real. But I understood what my thing was. I knew what it wasn't too. Okay. So, so after that, after the second night, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can enjoy this.
So have you been practicing your CDJ? Or been working on the CDJ?
Nah.
No, you're just sticking to the turntable.
But you know what? Now, after being out doing stuff for the last 2 years, I'm just better. So when I get to a place where there's CDJs, I know what I can and can't do on them. So the problem is I was trying to treat the CDJs like turntables. So it's just like you can't treat the future like the past. So you just have to deal with it different.
Yeah, and I know DJs now, I mean, there's been like controversy like, oh, you're not a real DJ if you don't know how to use turntables. But is there like a certain level of respect for those that adapted to the electronics getting a little different and people using Serato and all that? Or is it just like, nah, you need to know turntables?
I think you need to know your craft. If you're a DJ, that's a part of it. Like the same way I had to learn CDJs, I had to figure out what I could do with them. You know, if you go to a game and it's nothing but dumps, that's not fun to watch. True. So it's like you can't necessarily be considered one of the greatest if you don't know how to use the fundamentals as well as the tricks.
I agree. I feel you.
I have nothing to say.
But knowing your past and your history, I think late last year or early last year, Organized Noise put out a documentary. Yes. You weren't in it though.
You know, I wasn't in town, honestly, but I was in it. Actually, there was a picture of me that flew through it.
Yeah. They mentioned, you honorably mentioned a little in a comment, but
I would say integrally mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. You had a big part in it, but like, tell us about the beginning and stuff. I heard like you were at somebody's house and you left a CD. And it had Big Boy on it, or Rico's beats on it, and Big Boy found the CD?
Well, okay, so this is funny. Me, Big, and Dre went to the same high school. So this is where cheating goes good. I left... I was going to leave all that out. I left a beat CD in somebody's car. And luckily enough, Big Boy got in that same car and heard the beats and was like, what's this? And, you know... it made the connection. So it was a beat tape, actually, a cassette tape of Organized Noise beats. And a cassette tape. Yeah, so it just caught, you know, that cassette traveled. And it made its way to Big Boy and Dre. They wrote some stuff to it, came to Rico's job like a week or two later and performed raps that they had wrote to it. Wow. So it kind of, you know, it's like the serendipity of it all, you know? It's like, I really believe in just the magic of how things happen. Or it's really the plan. You know, some people digest it better when it's magic, but that's fine.
Yeah. And back then...
on just Sunday morning.
Right. And it just seemed like, you know, the story of how everyone kind of got together was so organic, and the Dungeon family and all that. Like, literally, y'all were, like, in a basement making, like, great music and wasn't thinking nothing of, like, we got to be the biggest star. Like, it would just happen, or not money or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure that was the goal, but like, tell us more about like the process and how it felt to just be a part of that.
Well, it's hard. Well, it's easier to talk about it now because you can look back at the hindsight 2020 thing. But at the time, there was no money in it. Like, there wasn't a music industry in Atlanta at the time that we were in the basement making music. Right. We were just trying to impress each other, and I think that goes just into that whole thing of whoever your circle is who you'll be. So we happened to be in a basement full of people who were hungry, were talented, you know, like really driven to be dope at their part. So everybody, you know, it's like literally about 12, 13 people packed into this basement that could probably comfortably fit about 3-4 people. Damn.
now?
Sweaty. I heard it was sweaty.
It was sweaty. It was musty.
It was a lot of different things.
It was like weed, dirt, and music.
But his mom like took care of y'all at the same time.
Well, we all took care of each other. His mom tolerated us.
Gotcha.
That was enough. Like no, literally, because that's the job. The job was tolerating 13 dudes in the house full of you and your 2 daughters. But what they got was, Rico's sisters got security from it. They got 12, 13 security guards.
And Big Brother from
Real life, like to this day. So it's that family that you make, hence Dungeon Family.
Who also makes amazing, great music.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So like after you're heavy in the game and stuff, you started A&R and being an exec. Like LaFace, you signed TI, you signed what's the other group? Young Bloodz. Like, what was your mentality? Was it about the business? Because going from a DJ then to working, records and all that, signing an artist, especially TI, to where he's become. Like, what was your mentality?
I think my mentality then is the same as it is now. It's like if you see something dope, you want to put a light on it. Well, that's how I feel. Like how do I get other people to feel like I feel now that I've heard this, seen this, or just been in it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't it. That's the mentality. It's like I saw somebody who I thought was really dope, who I didn't necessarily see someone else helping.
Okay.
Because it's kind of in my being in the music business, I've learned that let me start from here. I came in thinking one way. I came in thinking that dope stuff is what works, and everything that I've heard was because it was so dope. Mm-hmm. As I got into the music industry, you find out that it's about champions, it's about teams, it's about who introduces you. And at the time that I started building my credit in the A&R space, I signed T.I. after doing Usher, after working on TLC, Tony Braxton, and Outkast and Goody Mob. Mm-hmm. So my credit was good enough to bring in this young kid who nobody knew. He didn't have a buzz. It wasn't that. It was just I met a dude through DJ Toomp and Jason Jeter, just based on working at a certain studio. It's a studio called Patchwork in Atlanta. And I don't know, I'm just real big on if I like it, I want other people to know about it. Mm. So it was never sharing is caring.
Yeah. You gotta share, especially music. I mean,
there's too many choices. It's like and to an extent, even if you look at it from an ego space, I think my taste has kind of it falls in line with people like me, and I want people like me to if someone else like me hears something like T.I., I want them to tell me. I want to hear it too. So it's just keeping it as unselfish as possible, but at the same time understanding that from the ego space, this is my taste, and it helps me to navigate. If I make sure that everybody I introduce to you is at least fundamentally dope, it keeps my credit good.
So with T.I., that was how many years ago? We're not even gonna go into years, but right now you're still
at least 17.
17. You still you have Cap G,
mm-hmm.
Which the first time I heard him was I heard Girlfriend, mm-hmm. and I was just like, man, this song. And then I seen him. I'm like, where did you find him at? Like, how did you come across him? Because it's brand new, but it's working. It's like he's working and he's working hard. You said the internet.
The internet. It's like the internet makes it easier. Like if you follow the rabbit hole of your taste, it'll lead you to things that you like.
You, JD, and Rico Love all follow this pattern right now of finding dope artists on the internet. Do you look for them, or does somebody tag you? Or
No. The internet is real life now. But by the way, no. In Cap G's case, in the last probably 4 or 5 years, I've probably gone through a major, transition, whatever in my life, right? So I just opened up, and I was working out. We had a crew of people that we used to go to the park and just run and just do random workouts with my homie Pretty Ken again. And one of the guys who was working out with us sent this video to me and Ken, like, yo, y'all should check this because y'all in the music business. And it was Cap G.
Gotcha.
So the ironic part was I saw Cap in the apartments that I grew up fighting in, and I was like, what is he? Like, legit, that was just, my honest question was, what is he? And they were like, no, he's Mexican, his family, and they went through the story, and I was like, well, why is he there? Like, that's where I grew up. Like, I've never seen anything other than black people in this neighborhood. And, again, Cap is 20 years younger than me. Actually, give or take. But we went to the same high school, graduated 20 years apart. He went to the same high school with me, Big, Dre, Candy, Keenan from Saturday Night Live. It's like so many people that came out of our high school that it's almost like I had to pay attention to it. And he lived in the neighborhood I grew up in. So it was just the irony of it made me investigate it. And when I met him, I realized he was born in Atlanta. His family is from, his mother and father are from Mexico. His brother, a couple of brothers born in Mexico, a couple born in California. He's the only child in that house who was born in Atlanta. So it's the anomaly of circumstance. He was born in Grady Hospital in Atlanta, grew up in College Park Projects, and when you think about being foreign in any situation, the amount of confidence, the thick skin, the things that you have to grow into, it built him for this. Because especially if you're talking about the internet age of people who talk bad first. Like before they even are committed to not liking, it's just how much funny shit can I say or how mean can I be?
Like, at the end of the day, people are mean trolls.
Yeah, but
and then, like, that's a job now to be a troll.
Yeah, if people are looking for trolls, yeah. I mean, yeah, people looking for everything, but I think his upbringing built him to be able to walk through this with the confidence and with the quiet confidence that he has. It's like, you know what? It's been worse. Like, if they're talking about you, they're talking about you.
Right.
So it's still fine.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out where did that connection come from, but it's really connected.
It sounds like so many connections. And again, which goes into that thing, it's like, you don't know, man. Like, the idea of, like, not liking somebody for a reason, skin, religion, ethnicity.
Yeah, I was
No. I'm like spell correct on myself, but no, it's those things that we think make us so different. But when you look at the basics of it, we're not that different. Me and Cap, we have a parallel situation, but it's his specific situation or his specific cultures, because he has now two that he lives in. He lives in his Mexican American culture and he lives in his Atlanta culture. So you put those together, and it's like, it's just new, it's just different, and it's it's from Atlanta, so it's fly.
Yeah, I love Atlanta. I mean, it's always been a city for me, at least, to go. I went to college in South Carolina, so we used to always go like to Atlanta for spring break or whatever. But it was great to see like Atlanta grow from not being known as a powerhouse in hip hop to now being like damn near the Mecca. Like, aside from New York isn't really like pushing out artists consistently like Atlanta is. Tell us about you being kind of responsible in that transition of Atlanta, just like, because I mean, year 2000, like everything was really like heavy Atlanta, and to this day, like the top artists, Future, the Young Thug, like everybody's repping. Like, why do you think that was?
I don't know. I think it's the Motown effect. It's like Motown didn't necessarily. Detroit wasn't the music spot until enough dope people did it in that spot that made it seem like, okay, scientifically there must be something there. So that's when people migrate and just start setting up shop. But Atlanta has so many talented people that it's still working. I wish I could explain it other than just I'm gonna take the Atlanta line and say just Atlanta's dope. It's in the water, it's all those things, it's proximity, it's the idea that you can see people walking down the street who are famous and have affected culture, but they're still regular people. So it's inspiring to a younger generation of people who can figure out their lane and figure out how they want to become stars or just good at what they do.
What role does like the DJs in Atlanta play in a star's success? Because it seems that Atlanta, everybody works together, or like once somebody's hot, like it takes off, and it takes off completely, as opposed to some other cities like Miami. Like it's such a difference, and it's really hard for everybody to come together and push one artist. Like y'all been able to push like multiple artists, like you just said, but I feel like the DJs and the people behind the scenes also like co-sign it, so it makes it a little bit easier.
I think we take our credit serious in Atlanta, so like there'll always be things that we understand that we are stronger as a whole, first of all. So it just like you can look at Atlanta and say everybody messes with each other, right? It looks like that, but we know that none of us are going to be hot 100% of the time. So if you make sure that the hottest people around you get light, it keeps the light in the same space. Like you don't have to hog it. Like the light's going to be there every day. Every day the light comes on. Like so, if you got it, you got to figure out a way to keep it. Because it moves. It normally moves way more than it does for, it's moved less for Atlanta than it has for a lot of the other situations like New York. Because it started it, we were able to watch it, look at it, and find our voice in it, right? But we also understood that we like New York. We like LA. We don't have a selfishness, or we don't have a real arrogance that it can't be anywhere else. We're still hungry for it because we know we don't normally get it.
That right there, the hungry part. Like, it's not the entitlement, it's not the, we started it, so it's ours. Can't nobody else have it, which I think New York kind of has, and that's why, like, it's really hard because you guys have the sound right now. Like, it's the Atlanta sound.
I think it's more the Atlanta spirit and the sound, because it's still the same drums, it's still 808s. Rick Rubin used those in the late 80s and 90s. It's the same fundamental thought, but the personality is the personality. It's a humbling thing to be from Atlanta. There not be a music industry. You sit around in a room with your friends in the basement, and some music happens, and a couple of years later, there's a music business in Atlanta. And organically, however, I don't know how you look at it, but it's like I 1000% feel like, God put the right people in a space, Atlanta, not just the dungeon, but in a space to create something that matters to people. And I think, that's the other part about the South in general. It's about heart. Mm-hmm. So it's much easier if you're honest and come from your heart to connect with other people whose heart is open. Because most of the people who listen to music are looking for something. They're not just listening to beats. Like, the majority of people are looking for some kind of inspiration, something to be amazed by, something to be able to say, I wish I could do that. It's something to it. It's not just music. Like, people don't go to basketball games just to see the ball go in the hoop. They want to see it done in a way that they wouldn't have thought it was going to happen.
And Atlanta has been known to reach out to other cultures because Lil Jon kind of helped revive Too Short's career. Mm-hmm. E40 came over and started doing stuff, so it was and it made sense and it didn't sound forced. And so y'all had that Southern hospitality where it's not just, I'm gonna stick to Atlanta and that's it. Like, y'all still reach out to other artists and affect it.
I think the cheat code is we had the civil rights movement. Like, the cheat code is we understand that numbers matter. Like, the more people you have touching and agreeing on something makes it bigger. I was tripping last night at the Rolling Loud show when Killer Mike stopped his hip hop show to tell people how to vet their politicians. It's like it's a real thing. It's not like that's not a gimmick. You can't make that a gimmick,
right?
Because at a point somebody's gonna ask you something, and then that's when, if you're true to it, you end up on CNN being intelligent and stating your case, and people then open up to the rest of you outside of your hip hop thought.
That's so true.
So it's like, I think everybody's, Atlanta, we're really big on being 100% person. Like, be a 360 human being while you're being an artist. That's the dope shit.
Down to earth ass city. But what's going on with the infrastructure? Because y'all got bridges collapsing.
Oh yeah.
I do music.
I'm not focused on it.
We just want you to get where you gotta go safely.
It's too much stuff popping right now. I'm like, okay.
No, ironically, the bridge went out on my birthday.
Y'all y'all had just passed that area.
No, Eric, my girlfriend was at the bridge where it collapsed, like getting her hair done under that bridge.
Are you serious?
And sent me a text like, something's on fire. Like, so understand that the bridge collapsed or fire, whatever happened happened on my birthday. Now for me, I'm having a birthday party that night. The bridge goes out. There's a torrential rainstorm, and all I'm thinking is, it's a wrap for this birthday party.
Right.
And again, it goes to that spirit of Atlanta. Like, it was lit.
People still came out.
Like, all this shit happening. I need to turn up.
I need something else. I need something else in my life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the quality of friends too. But that's the thing. I do music
on your birthday.
I do music, and the bridge gonna fuck up my friendship.
Do you feel like you could ever live in another city?
I've lived in I've had places in other cities. I just like Atlanta. I feel like my home base for not just obviously my family, but my energy is not the same other places. Like, I lived in New York, and what I did get, I got a lot done from a business standpoint, but there was just soulful things that you miss.
Yeah.
I lived in LA, and I love the weather, but the first Christmas I had on shorts threw me off.
Okay.
We have Christmas on the beach. We have Christmas barbecues around here.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. But I'm from Atlanta, so it's almost like throwing off your equilibrium a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like the relatability of one perfect season throws off the idea that there are struggles for me. So I like being in touch with what's happening in a way that I can feel it. And you can get out of touch. And again, that's only because I'm from Atlanta and I'm used to getting my information and at certain places in certain situations from people I trust and believe. When you're out of your element, you can find yourself not knowing what to believe because you don't know the signs. Like,
how are you creatively in LA? Like, what was that space?
I don't know that I was creative in LA as much as I was opening myself up to learn. Like, I wasn't as creative in LA, but I had to be on a different kind of attentive look. I had to be on my pivot. LA is different, and this was LA early 2000s, late 90s, so it was still like looming tensions, and not being from there, you have to walk a little lighter.
Oh.
So it's like I wasn't carefree. I wasn't normally myself, where I'm just childish and open.
Yeah. No, LA's a whole nother beast, and if it was around that time, then I already know what time it was.
Yeah. Why do people seem to go to LA to create their
sound, projects?
Yeah, but I don't know that that's true. I think that people start getting hot, and then the first trip to LA is a different place. You go out there, and if you go out there the week that your record is hot, every single person will offer you a check. They'll say, "Oh my God, we've been waiting for you to come out here, man. If you just lived out here, man, you get all the money." And then you move, and that hit record that generates a lot of money, you end up spending on staying in LA hoping to get another check. But reality is, be hot, the money will come to you. Like Atlanta has maintained so much because so many of the more important, culturally important people live there. They still are there. So you have to come to Atlanta. If in the early 90s, if Outkast had moved to LA, it would change hip hop.
That makes total sense.
Because the South wouldn't have as much to say. And that started a trend in people being proud of the place that they're from in the South in hip hop. Like, in hip hop, that's kind of like New York could have been likened to, it's civil rights. It's like, you over there can't be over here with us. So in saying that, it made us create our own space, which was still inclusive of the people who told us we weren't necessarily good enough.
Right.
But it's inclusive in a way that, how about now?
Got you. I know I love this guy. I'm pretty sure you do too. But you have a relationship with Pharrell. What is we are other? I am other. Collective. Like, what's your role in it, and how?
I'm head of music at I Am Mother.
So how does that?
I know it's weird because Pharrell being Pharrell, like, naturally he's, I guess,
and releases that, and you have control over.
I mean, control is fake. I have influence in
better terms.
Yeah, in what we do, what we all do. Like head of music is just you need a title because people need to say you have a title. But realistically, it's a lot of dope people together sitting in rooms, think tanking on how to get odd things in front of masses, and odd dope things though, and it's just easier because we all have kind of come from odd. So other being different,
not like anybody else.
Yeah, not conventional, but at the same time, I Am Other has a thread of oddness, which makes it the same. I don't know. It's
not just music.
No, it's not just music. It's film, it's TV, it's furniture, it's clothing. It's furniture? All yeah, Pharrell makes furniture. You gotta sit somewhere.
Chair.
And it might as well be fly. Like, why not be in a fly chair? Yeah. It's just a collective of creative people, trying to get that out into the world.
So how did that come about?
Because Pharrell attracts creative people. Like he's a creative spirit, and he's such a big light of creative spirit. It attracts other people like who respect quality creative, and it came together honestly on some. I can't say that actually, but
come on.
No. It came together. It's just right again, organic. Me and Pharrell worked together since T.I.'s first album. Like he did T.I.'s first single. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So we've been friends since the day we met. Like super fast friends. And him being an Aries, I'm an Aries. We get along just because Aries feel good about other Aries. And the trust happened fast because we were honest with each other all the time. You'd be surprised at the petty creative conversations that we have on a Saturday at 9:45, like in the middle of him doing Pharrell shit, in the middle of me doing what I'm doing in my life. But because we care about how dope things are, or we care about how dope things could have been if somebody would have made one turn, one different choice in t-shirt for him, and for me, that sound threw me off. But the idea of that caring is what our whole crew of people are. It's a bunch of people who care about the detail. And that's what I Am Other's kind of about, coaching creative people to get to that next space. Because, the other part about being creative is you see it so clearly.
But
when
others might not.
But others might not. So you want to be able to create and say it again.
What the Kanye theory?
I mean, no, but you want to create other stuff that you can make sense.
Right.
Like you want to be able to explain why.
Because if the masses don't understand, or if it doesn't translate at all,
you didn't communicate it.
Then it doesn't matter.
It means you didn't communicate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like communication is about the other person understanding what you're saying.
Exactly. And knowing your target, because if you don't even know, then you're just shooting your shot, and you're like, oh, I hope somebody likes it.
Yeah, you might as well go in the gym, turn the lights off, go for it.
Right.
Go for what you know.
With the internet kind of changing everything, music, how people market stuff, does it make it harder to just stay on track? Like, we tend to overthink things sometimes when we think oh, we may have to do it that way, but with I Am Other and just with what you do in general, do you feel like your process is a little different or a little skewed now because of the way things are targeted and marketed to people?
I think I have been in situations where too much information has thrown me off my game. So I think the internet is good if you know what you're using it for. But just like the rabbit hole of, I know I'm looking for music that feels a certain way, right? If you don't have a goal, that rabbit hole gets bigger. And it means you can end up in places you weren't necessarily looking to be in.
Right.
Like, you can start at happy and end up anywhere. You can start at kitten and end up anywhere. It's, if you don't know what the goal is for you, the internet is the most dangerous place in the world. It's like walking around New York looking up at the buildings. They just getting pickpocketed.
Right. Not paying attention.
Yeah, but if I know where I'm going, I can look at the internet. I can look at the internet as the tool that it is. It's so much information.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed at how much information people don't have based on how much is at their fingertips.
Right. And even like on the business side, like artists now have to consider like streaming. But when before that wasn't really on your mind or no one's thinking about that.
How it works.
Like that's important.
I mean, and the thing is, nobody still knows how radio works. Like in real life, if you're not in radio, so again, it's just another medium. You need to figure out the part that works for you. Like, and honestly, it's all specific. It's all tailored to what it is you're trying to do. Like when me and Fly talk about stuff, we have similar tastes and we have similar thoughts, but we're going to do certain things different. And the internet has to be used the same way. You have to really have a real what's the word? A more not moral, just a base of where you're coming from, so you know that when you get into murky places, this doesn't feel right.
It's not for you.
Yeah, it's not for you.
That totally makes sense. Well, look, tell us what you're listening to now. Like, who are you checking? Like, what albums?
What is a KP playlist?
It's schizophrenic. It can be, I got issues, or it could be Ain't Gonna Let Up by Yola the Great. It's Stevie Wonder. It's Uzi. It's Lil Uzi Vert.
Philly.
I love dope shit. It doesn't matter. Like, and yes, he's from Philly. It's amazing how much Atlanta's in the music. Anyway, but,
Listen.
No. But listen, what I say that to say, it takes all of it. Like when you asked earlier about like, there's no hesitation in reaching out to somebody dope, no matter where they're from. But everybody doesn't do that. So I guess that's what makes Atlanta special. We're really a community of
givers,
and we're very clear about what we're supposed to receive though too. We're learning. Again, it's a new. It's new. The industry is new to Atlanta. It's like 20 years old. It's legit just about to be out of college. So yeah, like I know this for a fact because my son is in college. But my first son, I'm sorry, my oldest. But it's the learning curve, and we're figuring out how to include more so that it becomes more. So having a Uzi as an ally is amazing when you look at how far his reach is.
Right.
Like I love playing the Uzi Vert record. Like I love it because I've had conversations with people who are older. Like I don't like this young stuff. I don't like what's a Uzi Vert? What's up with the purple hair? And I'm like, he's an artist. Like he's expressing and if you listen, he's actually a writer. Like he's really writing records. Like when you think about Tour Life, the song, it's really deep. I asked her, she said, push me to the edge, all my friends are dead. Like it's so many real thoughts. And so when you see people emotionally react to records, it's incredible. So it doesn't matter if you're from Atlanta, it doesn't matter, just be dope. Like be great.
As you were speaking, and you were saying how like Atlanta, how they feel and what they saying is coming out in their music. At first I'm not gonna say I was against it, I just vibed to the new music. But then I'm thinking about like a 21 Savage, like what he's saying is like real shit coming out of his mouth that is like really how he's feeling. So when you said what you just said, it's just like, okay, now I understand it. Even Lil Uzi Vert, like he took a huge chance being who he was, being from Philly, and living this rock star lifestyle because in Philly that's not even accepted. Like it's not a thing. Good thing he had Drum like backing him up, who is also from Philly.
And but who also lives in Atlanta.
I know, but he went to school there and he just never left.
See how that works?
Because he's DJing. It works. I'm not mad. Everybody from a lot of people from Philly moved to Atlanta. I'm not
okay, and I'm not gonna make this Atlanta versus Philly thing because it's not. It's Philly has Philadelphia International. Like it is again another staple in Black cultural art and music.
But y'all made the music scene work for y'all. We still struggling.
But again, when Philly International was popping, there wasn't as much information. Like I look at Gamble and Huff, and I know how much they did during their time as popular producers.
Yeah.
They weren't just producers. They were helpful in the city. They were helpful in the community. They bought real estate. They understood how to make things around them better. And they took that same thing that they had in that studio with that shag carpet and all the things and all the people, Teddy Pendergrass, Whitehead. It's like so many talented people that came through there, and they understood what that community did in that small space, and they took that outside and built it. But the information wasn't just free flowing. It wasn't the internet. So the next people who were starting up a company didn't have necessarily access to ask, how do you do it? Atlanta, we benefited from a lot of things happening at the same time. We had the struggle of trying to gain respect. We had, we were from the South, so it's already that slow connotation.
Y'all slow or whatever.
Yeah, and we had to be aware of that and carry ourselves in a way that got us through those hurdles, but while being ourselves. Like, so it's courtesy up until it's not. It's respect up until it's not. It's still, grown human beings who are very aware. So we made it clear that it wasn't going to be, you're not getting jokes over on us. You're not, because you said it fast, we heard it the same. It's how you deal with it. And I think if Atlanta can do one thing for the music business, or just culture in general, it's about showing what you can do when you do it together.
And that kind of ties into your whole Be Great thing.
Yeah,
because your hashtag Be Great, that's associated with your brand, but like what you're talking about is meaning like no matter how you do it, always be great in anything. Yeah. Like what made you like push that? I mean, that's a mentality, obviously, but
it's a mentality I didn't know I had. Mm-hmm. Like all my friends are dope. Like on some level.
You are who you surround yourself.
Yeah, so and I say this a lot. My grandfather told me this when I was about 13, and not understanding what it meant. But it's that grown man code talk that he was doing. He was like, "Yo, man, like I got into some trouble, and made it through it." But like a couple days later, he just walked into my room and was like, "Hey, man, I just need you to know if you wake up in a room full of junkies, you're a junkie." And walked out the room, and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck you mean?" But as I grew and started paying attention to who my friends were, I'm like, "Oh, but if I'm in a room full of talent, I might be talented." So okay, and if I'm willing, like accepted in that room, that means I'm talented. But yeah, it's understanding that you are who you surround. If you're in a circle full of squares, either you're waffle or you a square.
You ain't but a slice of bread.
Yeah, a slice of bread. That's funny.
That's awesome though.
Below.
Yeah, but nah, but I think it's something that people need to understand, especially you get so many overnight success stories that really aren't overnight. I mean, the public thinks they are, but there are some people that did get some overnight and now they're gone. But you see, even like access now, like Vice. I don't know if you watch Vice.
I watch it from time to time.
What I like that they're doing is like I can really watch a noisy documentary and understand like, oh, so they've been doing music for way longer than I thought, and get to know like I got a little bit more respect for Lil Yachty after watching that, just because of finding out his background. I was like, okay, I won't judge him as hard as I was. So it's like the Be Great thing, and just seeing that the internet can either make or break you, but you got to use it the right way. Like you said, don't fall for stuff. Yeah.
But being great is really the funny part is I can say that all day long, but if you're not trying to be, you won't even notice it.
Right.
Like it's really like a beacon for it's like you put it in the air, and people who are looking for that will gravitate, and you'll form communities of it. Like the Be Great as a movement, it's just what I want. It's like I would love to see people try to be the best. Yeah. Like that's what I'm trying to do. It's really not that deep. It's as short as the saying almost. And I feel like it's something that you don't have to like me to want to be great. Like so it makes it bigger than me. It takes the personal out of it. Like, you know, we talked, me and Fly talked last night, and we were talking about the t-shirts, to be great t-shirts, and you know, we gave some out at the concert, and they went over well, and people wanted them, but they wanted them because it identified with them. Like, it probably had less to do with me, and I think the quality of a great show that me and Fly put on last night, but that thought is the point.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were having fun while we were doing it, giving the shirts out, so that's infectious. But be great. It doesn't have to, like, that carries from DJing, it carries to being a father. It's like everything that you got to work on, if you set the goal, you can at least get to it faster. Like, the name KP the Great happened by mistake because, ironically, it used to be my MySpace name back when MySpace was popular.
Yeah, that's top 8 friends.
But again, that account closed. I never looked back at it, right? And at that point, it was about Eric. It was like, KP was great. But as I grew up, I was like, that's corny, blah, blah, blah. So I remember changing all my socials one day from all the different random things that they were. When I turned 40 years old, I changed everything to my government name. I'm like, this is who I am. But that's when things started changing. That's that transition space, right? 2 or 3 years later in Orlando at a radio interview, they had asked me to do a DJ set. And they were like, what's your DJ name? I'm like, KP. DJ KP. Okay. So, but at the end of the set, dude was like, man, nah, that was the KP the Great. That's what these guys need to be KP the Great. And I was like, you know, he's like, your legacy, your network, everything about you is kind of like great. Yeah. That should be your name. I was like, bet. So DJ D Strong in Orlando was the person who said that, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's a name I can grow into. I like it. Yeah, it's like that won't ever get too small or too tight for me. Like there'll always be room to do better. It's just I thought that worked for the mentality and the space that I'm in, and that led to the idea of you're right, be great at it. Like because me and TI, when he was coming up, I remember him saying to me, he's like, man, I want to be the king of the South. And I was like, well, say it. And then that way you know you have a goal. And he did, and he did.
He has not stopped saying it.
No, because you know what? Because that it creates accountability.
And it forces you to be consistent. Like, you can't drop the ball because then you just went against what you said you were doing.
You said king, right?
Yeah.
And he's matured into a totally different person from
like I can say what he's always been is honest, and
he's speaking out to everybody
and to everybody about what he feels, and it's like it's the thing that got him in that space. So why stop it? But use it, and he's using it.
Yeah, he went on a Funk Flex the other day.
I missed that one.
It was kind of funny.
No, he's a hilarious dude.
He does it so well though. It's not like a rant that's like that sounds bad. It's like it's an educated rant. Like he's spitting knowledge at the same time. Like, maybe you should get your shit together just a little bit.
Yeah. And the thing is, he does self-checking, and it's he's grown as a human being.
Did you ever have to check T.I.?
Hey, it's your girl jxstFE. And it's your girl Vina 9. And you are now locked in with us, the Antisocialites. So turn up the volume and just chill out. Because each and every week, we're coming with that real talk. Conversations with Miami's business owners, artists, behind-the-scene nightclub professionals, as well as social activists, community leaders, and aspiring artists. Real talk from two cool chicks curating Miami's cultures, arts, and